Snow-dusted sunlight spilled through the cafe windows as Mara Ellison realized the worst part wasn't being rejected on a Christmas blind date. It was the quiet way it happened, the polite smile, the quick excuse, and the empty chair left across from her while carols hummed overhead. The world kept celebrating, bright and warm, while something small and hopeful inside her folded in on itself. She sat there with a cooling mug and a shaking breath, wondering how a season built on miracles could feel so lonely in the middle of the day. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that heal the heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories right now. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most. Mara had agreed to the blind date because December had a way of convincing her to try again. She was 33, careful and kind in a quiet way, the kind that often went unnoticed. Her life was steady but thin, stitched together by routines at the public library, evenings volunteering, and a small apartment decorated with handmade ornaments she'd crafted over the years. She had learned to be grateful for what she had, but the holidays tugged at an old ache she carried since childhood, the ache of wanting a family that chose her back. The date had seemed promising, a friend's recommendation, a midday coffee before the rush of Christmas errands. But when he glanced at his phone, mentioned a sudden obligation, and left with an apology that didn't reach his eyes, Mara felt smaller than the table she sat at. She paid the bill and stepped outside into the bright cold, the sky a pale blue that made everything feel exposed. The town square was alive with daytime cheer, paper snowflakes, a towering tree, children laughing near the skating rink. Mara tried to walk it off, telling herself that rejection was not a verdict, that it was simply a moment. Yet each step echoed with questions she had no answers for. She passed the community center, where a banner fluttered about a holiday charity event, and she felt the familiar pull to help, to be useful when her own heart felt fragile. Inside, the warmth smelled like pine and baked goods. Volunteers moved quickly, setting up tables and sorting donations. Mara offered her hands without thinking, folding scarves and arranging toys. It was there, near the windows glowing with afternoon light, that she noticed two identical little girls with matching red coats and serious eyes. They stood close together, watching the room with a careful hope that seemed far too heavy for such small shoulders. Their names were Rowan and Willa, twins with curls the color of toasted chestnuts, and they had arrived with their father, a man named Jonah Price, whose tired kindness showed in the lines around his eyes. Mara learned about them not through conversation, but through the way the girls followed Jonah like reflections, and the way he paused to kneel and straighten their mittens, as if afraid the world might rush them too fast. Their mother had passed the previous spring, a truth that hovered in the space around them, unspoken but present in the way grief changes light. Mara felt it because she had known loss too, different in shape but similar in weight. She found herself drawn into their orbit, helping the twins decorate paper stars, laughing softly when they concentrated with fierce determination. Time moved strangely that afternoon, stretching and softening. The twins' eyes followed Mara as she worked, and when they took her hands to show her their stars, something settled in her chest. Later, when Jonah stepped away to carry boxes, the girls looked up at Mara with a bravery that startled her. They asked their question without words, but the meaning was clear in their expressions and the way they leaned toward her, searching for safety. It was not a demand or a fantasy. It was a fragile offering, a wish shaped by loss and hope. Mara's heart pounded. She did not promise anything. She did not pretend. She simply stayed, letting the moment breathe, letting the daylight hold them all. Jonah returned, saw the girls calm, and met Mara's eyes with gratitude and caution. Over cocoa shared by the windows, understanding grew slowly like dawn. They spoke of patience, of healing, of how families can begin in unexpected places. Outside, the square glowed brighter as afternoon tilted toward evening, but inside, something had already changed. By the time the event ended, Mara walked back into the sunlight feeling lighter, not because everything was solved, but because she had been seen in a way that mattered. She knew the road ahead would be careful and slow, built on trust and time. Yet for the first time in years, the season felt honest. Christmas was not about perfect moments. It was about choosing to stay when it would be easier to leave. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it. And subscribe to Life Spark Stories so more hearts can be reached. Special request: please comment from the heart and tell us what this story made you feel.